Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday.
Homecoming weekend. Lots of folks back in town.
Welcome home, Badgers. We have perfect weather for you. Just kidding.
Just as you remember it.
Just as you remember.
This is why you left in the first place. We'll get to the homecoming in just a minute and the weather, but first, here's what's making news today. A deadly crash last night at the intersection of East Washington Avenue and Baldwin Street. A vehicle collides with a pedestrian. We'll have an update from police and if any charges will be filed.
Despite the objections from the president, the impeachment inquiry on Capitol Hill is pushing ahead today with the deposition of his former ambassador to the Ukraine. And later, more than 100,000 people have now been told to evacuate as wildfires burn in Southern California. A look at the damage straight ahead. Let's take a look outside today. Had the light coat coming to work, need the heavy-duty one heading home. 65 when I was walking the dogs. It was 45 when I got to work 2 hours later. Yeah, and there's a freeze warning in effect for the weekend. End of the growing season. A taste of mid-November. It's a bad taste in the mouth. Chris Reese is out in the backyard patio. It's a shock.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be a shock to the system. I feel like I need a jacket myself out here on the patio. It's certainly breezy and those temperatures are on a cool note. We've had the cloudy skies around all day. We've dropped now to 41 degrees. Those winds are coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour. It's about time. I think we're going to have to switch the dew point for the wind chill as we go into the season. Those winds continue to be breezy. Wisconsin Dells at 38 right now. Same as you look over towards Viroqua. Temperatures are into the upper 30s, and I think there's going to be a lot more where that came from. There's still some shower activity in Wisconsin. A lot of that is moving off towards the east now as we've seen those showers move on through the area. But what we've also seen, especially back towards the west, are some minor moments where it snowed for a brief time. And I think some of us could see some snow showers at some point over the weekend. But I think the bigger story is that temperatures are nearly 30 degrees colder than they were at this time yesterday. And folks, we are certainly going to be focused on the chill. Check out those temperatures back towards the north and west. You see the freezing mark in Morris, Minnesota and Fargo. That is all headed our direction as we go through the weekend. Let's go ahead and show you guys traffic, though. This is the interstate I-3990 just south of Woodman. That is where the road is closed due to an accident, so be prepared for heavy travel delays if you are going to be headed that direction. Now, as we jump back over towards Madison, it's Friday. We're starting to see that early commute get started. That's bringing some slowdowns on the Beltline. Be prepared for that, especially as you hit, say, about Park Street and work your way over towards John Nolan. We're watching more backup showing up towards downtown in and around campus as well. It's homecoming, so you're going to see traffic likely in this area pretty much all through the weekend. But we're watching the routes. We'll keep you updated on weather and traffic as we go throughout the 4 o'clock show.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Topping the news at 4, Madison police say the driver who hit and killed a pedestrian on East Washington Avenue last night is not going to be cited or face charges. A preliminary investigation shows he was not impaired or speeding when a man in his 30s crossed the street in front of his car. Our Amanda Quintana is on East Wash where it happened with the details. Amanda?
It was just after 7:30 last night when the driver told police that this light here at Baldwin was green, so he went, and then suddenly a man appeared in front of his car. He told police he didn't have time to stop, he didn't have time to react at all because the man suddenly appeared. He didn't know until they collided. That man was not in the crosswalk, but they're still trying to figure out why he crossed in the middle of the block in front of oncoming traffic. Other drivers stopped to try to help the man, but he was pronounced dead at the scene.
I couldn't get it out of the look of the victim's face, and I couldn't get it off of my mind. It was very traumatically experienced, and I just can't imagine. It just happened so fast. Life goes, it's so fast. You could be gone in a second.
Phil Ivey was just a few cars behind the accident. He got out to try to help, but realized it was too late. He says in both of his jobs, driving across our area, he often sees close calls where pedestrians assume they have the right of way and drivers have to slam on the brakes. Now, in this case, right now, police believe this was an accident, but they are waiting for blood test results from the driver to make sure that he was not impaired.
Amanda Quintana reporting live. Amanda, thank you.
In court today, one of the two men involved in a fatal shooting at a Madison gas station has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. The shooting happened at the 7-Eleven on West Beltline Highway in August of 2017, killing a man from Waukesha. 35-year-old Demetrius Reeves was caught on surveillance video at a nearby bar before the shooting. The other man in the case, Curtis Langlois, was also sentenced to life without parole in the shooting.
Watertown police have released surveillance video of the suspects involved in a crime spree earlier this week. There were about a dozen reports of property damage from Monday and Tuesday night. Police say while the quality of the video is poor, they hope that additional video exists. If you know anyone in the video, you're asked to call Watertown Police.
A decision on Madison's proposed $40 wheel tax is being delayed until later this month. The Finance Committee met late into last night, but decided just before midnight to push a decision to their next meeting. Mayor Satya Rose Conway is proposing the vehicle registration fee to help close a budget gap and pay for the bus rapid transit project, among other things. The full council needs to pass the tax before November in order for that to happen. The Finance Committee will be meeting again on October 21st. The Trump administration put Turkey on notice that it could face powerful sanctions for its military incursion into Syria.
U.S. troops have been seen in the northeast region of the country, not far from where Turkish forces continued their assault on Kurdish forces. Nicole Killian reports from the White House.
U.S. troops conducted a military patrol a few miles from where Turkey is carrying out airstrikes against Kurdish forces in northeast Syria.
We are still conducting operations. Obviously, this incursion that was initiated by the Turks has had some effect, but yes, we are still co-located.
It's the first visible deployment of U.S. troops since Turkey's invasion began Wednesday into Kurdish-held territory. The violence sparked a mass exodus. The head of the UN Refugee Agency called the situation a deepening humanitarian crisis.
Tens of thousands of people have been fleeing their homes as a result of the escalation of conflict in northern Syria.
Turkey's invasion came after President Trump announced American troops were pulling out from the area.
We want to fight where it is to the benefit of the United States of America, not to the benefit of other countries.
The Kurds are a key U.S. ally in the fight against ISIS, but Turkey considers them terrorists. A U.S. official says the patrol is not in support of operations by Kurdish forces against Syria. The president is suggesting other ways to help resolve the conflict that do not involve the U.S. military. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin says the president has authorized officials to draft very significant sanctions against Turkey, which may be applied at any point.
These are very powerful sanctions. We hope we don't have to use them, but we can shut down the Turkish economy if we need to.
Kurdish forces have been holding thousands of captured ISIS members in Syrian prisons. The Trump administration is warning the Turks it is imperative not to let a single one of those militants escape. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Activists in Syria say 7 civilians and 8 Kurdish fighters have been killed since Turkey's operation began. Turkish officials say at least 2 soldiers on their side and 6 civilians have also been killed.
A couple of legal blows to the Trump administration today. A federal judge denied an appeal to block a House subpoena from accessing his tax returns. And another judge, this one in Texas, ruled that President Trump's national emergency declaration to build a border wall is unlawful. Marie Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, was also on Capitol Hill today for a closed-door deposition. In her opening statement, she claims that she was told that she was removed as the ambassador by a campaign against her by the president. Yovanovitch was recalled to Washington in May after the president's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani, claimed that she was blocking his efforts to get Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Wind-driven wildfires are tearing through the foothills and of some neighborhoods northwest of downtown Los Angeles. More than 100,000 people are being told to evacuate the area. The so-called Saddle Ridge fire erupted Thursday night. Strong Santa Ana winds are pushing burning embers across the area, igniting more fires.
We're at 0% containment. The fire is moving at a rate of 800 acres per hour.
The fire jumped two major freeways, shutting down Interstate 5, California's major north-south corridor. The closure strangled the morning commute and left hundreds stranded in their vehicles overnight.
After 4 months of renovations, the Wilmar Neighborhood Center is celebrating its grand reopening this weekend. According to a release, Madison's first community center has served 250,000 people since it opened more than 50 years ago. The building itself is 115 years old. It has updated plumbing, electrical, and HVAC systems and reinforced the building structure. The reopening will happen this Sunday. Students in the Madison area have some of the top graduation rates in the entire state. That's according to a new study out this week. Breaking down those graduation rates, according to zip code, Verona and Madison are the top two on the list, with 98.5 and 98.2% graduating respectively. The bottom five have 3 Milwaukee zip codes.
UW-Madison homecoming football game pits the Wisconsin Badgers against the Michigan State Spartans at Camp Randall tomorrow afternoon. And in just a couple of hours, the homecoming parade will take place on State and Gilman Streets. The marching band, Bucky, the UW Spirit Squad, floats, everything you'd want in a homecoming parade will be in it. The 2019 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Abiy Ahmed, the Ethiopian prime minister who helped end his country's 20-year war with Eritrea. Eritrea, thank you. The conflict between the two countries over disputed border territory came at a huge financial and humanitarian cost for both countries. The 42-year-old is pushing to open Ethiopia up to the outside world after decades of security-obsessed isolation. Well, we have a sad story to tell you about today that affects one of our own here at News 3 Now.
Unfortunately, we report on fatal car crashes more than anyone would like to. Last night, 24-year-old Levi Linscheid was killed in a Grant County crash. Levi is the brother of our morning anchor, Leah Linscheid. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says his car was discovered this morning at 7 o'clock after an overnight crash. His car left the road and hit a guardrail before going over a cement barrier. They do not know yet what caused the crash. Levi's family issued a statement saying Levi will be remembered for his unmatched kindness, his commitment to God, and his endless love for his family. He was universally beloved. As a fitness instructor, his job was to teach and inspire. His memory will continue to do that in all of the lives he touched. Our general manager, Tom Keeler, says the entire Morgan Murphy Media family is heartbroken, and we extend our most heartfelt condolences to Leah and her family. Leah, you and your family are front and center in all of our hearts and prayers, and we will all be with you every step along the way. Funeral arrangements are pending. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. The Federal Trade Commission continues to get complaints about an ongoing scam.
It's called the overpayment scam, where victims receive a fake check. Betty Hodgkins decided to sell this ring online. A buyer agreed to buy it for $4,000, but when the check came, it was for $4,500. Hodgkins agreed to send the extra $500 back with the ring, but the more she looked at the check, the more she grew suspicious.
Something in my gut told me not to trust it, so I didn't trust it.
Never accept an overpayment from anyone if you're selling something online.
Here's how the overpayment scam works. A con artist sends a check for more than the agreed price and asks the recipient to deposit it and send the difference back. A few days later, the bank realizes the check is a fake, and now the victim has a bad check and is out $500.
Southwest Airlines is getting rid of its lowered senior fares. The airline announced the change on its website. It says the discount is over as of December 11th. The senior fare could dramatically cut ticket prices, especially on the anytime fares. Stocks ended the week much higher on a report of a U.S.-China Phase 1 trade agreement. The Dow Industrial's up 319 points, ending the week at 26,816. The NASDAQ Composite Index gained 106. The S&P 500 added 32. Milwaukee Bucks superstar and reigning NBA MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo will soon become a father. His girlfriend posted about the news on Instagram today. The picture reads, "Baby freak coming soon," featuring a baby-sized Giannis jersey and a stuffed deer toy. That's exciting.
That is exciting. Well, yesterday was World Mental Health Day.
And it was observed in a very special way at Unity Point Health Meriter. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held yesterday for the grand opening of the newly expanded Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Hospital in Madison. The 20,000 square foot expansion at 8102 Wellness Way doubles the footprint of the existing hospital. It includes a bright and open children's wing, quiet alcoves, a yoga and meditation room, a full-service kitchen, and additional occupational therapy space. Additionally, and this is the most exciting part, Meriter is introducing outpatient therapy services for the first time in Madison for children and teens who need support but don't require an overnight stay.
Meriter's facility is the only inpatient unit of its kind in South Central Wisconsin, and Dr. Katie Schmidt is the child and adolescent psychiatrist and the medical director of the hospital. Congratulations.
Katie, congratulations.
Very exciting. For people who don't know, what work goes on there at your hospital?
So we're an inpatient psychiatric facility for youth in Dane County, and as was mentioned, we're the only service that is provided in this way in the county. And we take care of kids ages 6 to 18 years old who need to come into the hospital to stay for a while. Usually these kids are struggling with safety concerns or behavioral difficulties that we help them through.
So what are some of the things that you see in the patients at the hospital?
So a lot of the kids that come to us might struggle with aggression or reactivity. Some of the older adolescents might have attempted to take their own lives, or they're struggling with significant anxiety. So we support them during that time.
Where did they go before this facility?
Usually they'll see their outpatient providers, and that includes therapy or psychiatry. And when that isn't enough, sometimes they then have to come to us.
So what will this expansion mean for families, do you think?
It's tremendous.
We mentioned it's a beautiful space, so it sort of takes the fear out of going to the hospital a little bit.
Yeah.
But what will it enable you guys to do there?
I think the biggest thing is it will enable us to say yes to more kids. One of the struggles that we've had is we've had a wait list. The majority of the school year, we just don't have the space to serve all of the kids that need the help. So with the expansion of the inpatient service, we'll be able to take more kids into the hospital when they need it, so that families won't have to wait at home, or they won't have to travel far to get the services that they need. We're also adding outpatient services, as you mentioned, so kids can come to us during the daytime. Maybe they don't need to come stay in the hospital, but they need that more intensive service during the day, so we'll be able to provide that as well.
How critical is this service to South Central Wisconsin?
It's very critical. There's not many hospitals that provide this care in the whole state. And kids need help when they're not safe, so we need to be able to provide that.
Well, you've talked a lot about how if your child had any other illness, they would never be turned away from a medical facility.
Right.
So that really puts in perspective how significant the need is in the community.
Yeah. When kids aren't safe, their families need them somewhere to be supervised now. So the need to wait, it just can't be there. There can't be waiting.
You had the big ribbon cutting last night. We've seen video of the place. Does it live up to your dreams, the
It is
entire
so much
building?
more. It's amazing. I mean, it's bright, it's warm, it's welcoming. The spaces are so healing with the color, with the textures. We bring nature into the community, from the community into the building. So it's pretty remarkable.
And it's not done yet. Now the existing facility will be remodeled too,
yeah,
right?
It's going to get a facelift. Yep.
So what will you be doing with the existing space?
Just again, making it brighter, making it more welcoming and warm. Right now, it hasn't been updated in a while, so we need to make it more welcoming and warm for the families that come.
Again, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
It's been a labor of love for a lot of people and a lot of work to get to this
A lot of teamwork.
Yeah. Now it's open.
It is.
It's all done.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Thank
Kate.
you.
There is more local news ahead. We'll go backstage with Bruno. He goes one-on-one with Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants himself.
What else do you need on a Friday? And then coming up tonight at 5 with a possible freeze overnight, how local farmers are working to get their hemp crop harvested as the ongoing battle with Mother Nature continues into the fall.
Take a look at this. A pod of orcas swam and frolicked near Seattle. From the air, the group of killer whales could be seen surfing, playing, and breaching in Puget Sound. Scientists say the endangered southern resident began foraging in the area earlier in the week. Observers say their appearance in the sound is a week or two earlier than usual. They are spectacular animals, aren't they?
Amazing thing to see. If you're heading to New York City, you have to check out the new observation deck at the Empire State Building.
Now, more than 4 million annual visitors at the Art Deco skyscraper can take a new high-speed translucent elevator to the 102nd floor. They've also added 10,000 square feet of new exhibits, including a replica of the moving hand of King Kong.
Oh, that's great.
The monster gorilla seen climbing the building in the 1933 film. The famous open-air observatory on the 86th floor has also been remodeled. It took longer to do this remodeling project than it did to actually build the Empire State Building in 1931.
Wow.
Yeah, the new 102nd floor observation deck does open this Sunday. If you're going, be sure to enjoy the view.
That is spectacular.
So it's a clear view all the way up.
All the way up.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'm on my way to New York.
No, that would be really
No, seriously, taking in the view. Speaking of the view, the fall colors today were really showing out on my way to work, and so that's certainly some good news, but perhaps we could see a taste of winter as we go through the weekend. I'm tracking maybe a snowflake or two in the forecast after this break. And today is an alert day, or shall I say tonight is an alert night, as temperatures will likely fall below freezing. We're watching a strong chance for the growing season throughout Wisconsin to come to an end. And if you think this is early, oddly enough, it's not. It might be a day late. I'll show you that in just a second. But here are those freeze warnings in the light blue for all of the viewing area. That goes all the way up throughout parts of central and northern Wisconsin as well. And really, there's a large part of the country that is under a freeze warning as we go through tonight. Now, our earliest frost happened September 12th of 1955. We did not see a frost that early this year, but the average first date is the morning of October 11th. Today is October 11th. We're expecting it tomorrow morning. And so that's why I say it's more so right on time. Some other facts to take back take a step back and look at is our first trace of snow. On average, the first trace of snow comes October 25th. Now, last year, it was October 15th. I think it's possible that it could be October 12th or 13th, that some folks in Wisconsin see that first trace of snow as we go through the next couple of days. But let's take a look outside right now. No snow, no rain either, but plenty of cloud cover out there, as it's going to likely be a gray day and a gray weekend as well. 65 was the high. That was at midnight last night. Temperatures have continued to drop. That low 41, that's because that's the temperature right now. 41 degrees, wind still coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour, and those temperatures are going to continue to drop as we go through time. I don't think the 30s are going to be far away. Speaking of 30s, the Dells and Mineral Point into the upper 30s right now. Viroqua at 37. Still some lower 40s though showing up. Waukesha has also dropped towards 39 degrees, and we'll continue to see that colder air move in as this cold air mass just continues to settle in throughout parts of the country. This front continues to push towards the east. One of the things to watch for, though, it's the wraparound. You get a strong northwesterly wind on the backside of an area of low pressure, and oftentimes the moisture associated with that wraps on through. And let's go ahead and show you how that plays out for us. Here's that backside moisture. We actually get some sunshine early on Saturday, but pay attention to the cloud cover and the snow showers towards the north. That begins to wrap on in. This is where we see the cloud cover return to southern Wisconsin, along with the chance of some rain and snow as we go Saturday night into Sunday. And I think that cloud cover, once we go through Sunday into Monday, even sticks around for a lot of folks. So you are saying goodbye to the sunshine for a couple of days until we get you towards next week. Here are those clear skies as we head into tonight. Temperatures fall down into the low 30s. Tomorrow, we're timing it out. I think we'll see sunshine early. The clouds move in into the afternoon. Temperatures will be into the mid 40s as you work your way towards the south. Then here comes that cloud cover into tomorrow night. Then overnight, you'll see the chance for the rain and snow showers at times moving through. I think the further north you are, the better chance you'll have for that. By Sunday afternoon, we begin to dry out, but here we are at Sunday at 10 o'clock, and temperatures are still going to be into the upper 30s. You factor in the wind, and the wind chill is going to be a little issue as we go through the rest of the weekend. Saturday morning, wind chills could be in the lower 20s, maybe even some upper teens for some folks. Saturday afternoon, wind chills will be into the upper 30s. That's as best as it gets. As we head into Sunday, we're doing the same thing Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon with that added cloud cover around, we're talking wind chills still into the 20s and 30s. The core of the cold settles in as we go through the rest of the weekend. We'll get a brief warm up early next week before another reinforcing shot of some cooler air by Wednesday, then another warm up, and then by the time we get you towards the end of next weekend and say towards next Monday, I think there's another trough of some colder air that's going to try to develop over the western half of the country. So our yo-yo pattern is certainly what we're getting into as we head through the rest of your October, but I like the dry weather that we're looking at for most of this week. We'll see a slight chance of showers on Tuesday, another slight chance of showers for next Saturday. Otherwise, it's 40s and 50s, maybe even one day in the 60s, and dry weather. So I'd say, despite the fact that it's going to be cold this weekend and you need your jacket, I mean, it was coming eventually, right? Might as well get the shock out of the way. It's smooth sailing as we go through the rest of the week.
Just so sudden.
It is very sudden. Yes.
But we're kind of like, this is the time of year. I mean, you know, what do you expect?
Denver went from 83 to 19 in 18 hours with sunshine to just snow that snarled their morning rush hour.
But as you say, we're due. It's the normal frost.
It's normal. It's due. And oddly enough, today is the due date. So Mother Nature said, all right, fine. I'm right on time this year.
Right on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so warm for so long, we're not used to it.
No,
all right,
exactly.
but better next week.
Better next week.
Just get through the weekend.
It's going to be a good week next week.
All right. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Chris. And Chris will be here all weekend to keep you up to date on the weather.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Jane Pauley is with us once again. And Jane, understanding you have a lot coming up on Sunday morning, including a piece on Sir Elton John.
Yeah, we always have a lot coming up on Sundays. But for starters, we hit the road with Sir Elton John. He's currently in the middle of a world tour that he says will be his last. He's also written a memoir about a difficult childhood and tells Tracy Smith about reconciling with his mother, with whom he had a troubled relationship. How troubled? Well, here's a clip.
I reached out to her, and she reached out to me, and we had a couple of lunches at my house, and nothing had changed. But the only thing that changed was I didn't lose my temper. I knew what was coming, and I let her get on with it. And I just said, I love you, Mum. And she said, I love you too. I don't like you, but I love you, but I don't like you.
She said that?
Yeah.
But
and I said, that's okay. That's all right. It's fine.
You let her be her.
Yeah, let her be her.
Well, Mark, I guess that's something.
It is something, that's for sure. Can't wait to see the rest of that interview. And what else is on the show?
Glad you asked. We visit Mariska Hargitay on the set of Law & Order SVU, an institution after 21 seasons on the air. But she's not just fighting crime on TV. She's made helping real life victims of violent crime her life's mission. So that story, and as always, a whole lot more. We'll see you Sunday.
A whole lot more. We'll see you Sunday at 8 o'clock. Thanks, Jane. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Can't wait to see that Elton John interview.
That was a powerful
Really
soundbite.
was.
Oh, my goodness.
I love you, but I don't like you. When we come back, when one Will Smith isn't enough.
We'll preview the new movie Gemini Man, which features a young and an old Will Smith. That's when Live at 4 continues.
There's a live look at downtown Mad City. Kind of a cloudy, chilly day, but it's October. It's homecoming. Welcome back, folks.
That's right.
Will Smith's latest big screen action movie finds the actor going up against a familiar foe, himself.
Rick Damigella tells us how the movie Gemini Man features two Will Smiths.
25 years ago, your father took my blood and he cloned me. He made you from me.
Will Smith faces off against a younger version of himself in Gemini Man. Unlike recent advancements in de-aging technology, the movie's creators took a different approach to creating the younger Smith.
The first time I saw the younger me was really chilling. Because the way that the technology was done, it's not de-aging, so I didn't do the scene and then they just made my face younger. It's a 100% digital character, so I never saw anything until 8 months later when they started putting the young Will into the movie. So it was mind-blowing for me.
It's fully digital. We have an actor in there named Vicky Hugo who plays the role of young Junior so that Will Smith has somebody to read lines to and cast performance to. And then we go back in and we erase him out of the frame completely and we lay in a completely digital version of Will Smith.
Director Ang Lee says creating a fully digital character hasn't become any easier since he directed The Hulk in 2003.
No, it's probably harder. Just the media we're watching today is more accurate, and it's not a comic book. The good thing is he's not green.
You are obviously not the best. You're just trying to rattle me.
I'm trying to save you! In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
That is fascinating technology.
Movie magic.
That really is.
It really is.
Well, when we come back, speaking of magic, we go backstage with Michael Bruno.
He sits down with Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants himself, the star of the Broadway musical, now at Overture. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, happy Friday. Let's go ahead and get you home on that evening commute. One of the areas of trouble this afternoon, that's going to be the interstate, I-3990 south throughout parts of Rock County. This camera is very shaky. Try not to get sick watching it. But these lanes are closed, especially as you head in the southbound direction, though I do believe they just opened one lane. Still expect major delays as you head on the interstate just towards the east of Janes Hill. Now let's jump back home towards Madison. And this is where, oddly enough, the rush hour is not as bad as it oftentimes is, but we are certainly seeing some delays, some slowdowns to as low as about 30 miles per hour with a couple stalled vehicles. On the Beltline, make sure you pack your patience today. Get home safely.
Chris, thank you. A puppy is joining Lizzo's 'Cause I Love You tour after Lizzo's stop in Madison last night. Underdog Pet Rescue of Wisconsin brought puppies to the Sylvie yesterday. And while the entire group seemed to fall in love with one of the puppies, Lizzo's bus driver actually adopted her. The puppy, that's a great picture. The puppy, now named Pocahontas, will be on the remainder of the tour. Underdog Pet Rescue fulfills puppy party requests in exchange for a donation to the rescue.
What a lucky dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the musical SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical, was nominated for 12 Tony Awards in 2018.
Now, the road production of the show, based on the Nickelodeon animated series, has been renamed the SpongeBob Musical.
And that musical is now being staged at Overture, and our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check it out.
I mean, if you told me a couple years ago that this would be something that I would be doing, I would have told you that you're crazy. And actually I did, because my sophomore year at school, when the show first came out, one of my friends came up to me and was like, there's this role in the SpongeBob musical, SpongeBob. You are perfect for it, and in a couple years, you're gonna be SpongeBob. And I was like, first of all, SpongeBob musical, that sounds crazy. Second of all, no way am I ever going to be able to do that, and here we are.
Best day,
The show SpongeBob takes place in this super iconic Bikini Bottom, and what happens is it is announced that this long, dormant volcano of doom called Mount Humongous is set to erupt the following evening, and so the show kind of follows everyone's reaction to this, you know, news of their impending doom, and you know, someone of course has to try and stop it.
give me adventure, I love you tender. I will show just the sponge next door.
And you've got amazing Grammy Award-winning
Yes.
songwriters and people in this. It's pretty astonishing when you look and see the body of work that's in the music.
Yeah, I mean, Yolanda Adams, Cyndi Lauper, Plain White T's, Panic at the Disco, Aerosmith. I mean, the list is absolutely insane. And the coolest thing about it is that, like, all of these people write different songs, but they all fit together in one show. And every single one of them is a hit. Every single one of them. You will leave the theater with 15 songs stuck in your head.
Michael is here now. It's a visual spectacle.
It is a visual spectacle. I mean, there's cannons going off and streamers and neon, and it's just visually, it's an amazing, amazing show.
It looks like a fun show. Is it for adults and kids?
It is for adults and kids. I think the kids that actually watch the Nickelodeon show will appreciate it the most. So it's more, it's not really like a children's theater show, but I think it's really geared towards that audience.
Okay.
But there's tap dancing, and the songs are written, they're Grammy Award-winning musicians for these songs.
And it was nominated for a bunch of Tony
Awards. It was nominated for
Awards.
12 Tony Awards, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he has a great voice.
He's wonderful. He's really, it's charming. This is his first big tour. His parents got to see him when it was on the East Coast. And this is only their third city that they've been in to stop on the tour. So that was his first interview. So he was like, oh, this is my first live interview. I'm so excited. I said, well, it's live on tape.
And they had a delay on the first, I mean, there's so much stuff to get on stage. They Delayed a
It was
half hour.
delayed. Opening night was delayed 30 minutes because they had so many technical things they had to get in there. It was, yeah, it's a big, big, big show.
It's third week. They're still getting the bugs worked out.
Yes, indeed.
All right, let's tell people it is at the Overture Center tonight, tomorrow from 2 and 8, and Sunday at 1 and 6:30. Overture.org for tickets. All right, Bucky, what's next week?
Oh, SpongeBob Bruno Pate. Next.
That is a great
I
hat.
know, thanks. It's Broome Street Theater's tribute to Joel Gersman called Keep It. Plucked from the corpus of Joel Gersman.
All right, thank you. Final check your forecast coming up. Chilly night.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to see those lows fall all the way down towards 31 degrees. So it is the first freeze of the fall season, which is oddly enough right on time for this time of the year.
You will turn your heat on this weekend, I guarantee it.
Thank you, Chris. We'll be right back with the News Hounds.
On this cold and damp Friday, why not curl up with some adorable animal stories?
Lola and Louie have just the ticket in this week's edition of the News Hounds Now Update.
It's News Hounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now Update, a rare monkey enters the world.
A kiss from Fiona.
And a sleepy kitten.
But first, a News Hounds Now update. We have a winner in the Fat Bear Week contest, and her name is Holly. Each year, rangers at the Katmai National Park in Alaska hold a Fat Bear contest online. They capture pictures of the bears at the beginning of summer when they're at their thinnest, and again right before hibernation when they're, well, their fattest. Posting on their Facebook page, the park noted, "She is fat, she is fabulous, she is Holly. All hail Holly, whose healthy heft will help her hibernate until spring. Long live the Queen of Corpulence."
The Sydney Zoo is thrilled over its latest addition, the birth of a rare baby Francois Langer monkey. A video taken this week shows the not-yet-named newborn with orange fur clinging tightly to his mother Noel in the zoo enclosure. The Francois Langer species is listed as endangered.